Shit is cold. Thankfully, warming up today. I'm going to the gym, and I just I wanted to say I still see people like on CCI groups like craniocervical instability. And you try to tell people like you gotta lift weights with your neck, and people are like, you can't do that because it's too dangerous. I'm a dangerous person. I should shut up. I shouldn't talk. I'm not a doctor. And it's like the doctor is telling us, and you or whoever, to do physical therapy for your neck. But physical therapy for your neck is like, there's head movements, right? Like if you're like, you can't even use weight, so like all you're doing is like flexion extension with just the weight of your own head, you know. Um, but beyond that, say you like work up to the point where you're like, all right, I can do 20 reps, and I'm gonna start using weights the next time with like just go back down to like 10 reps, but with some weight. The thing about weight is you could add like a pound, and it's very precise. Like if you're pushing on your head like this, I always hurt myself because, um, like, how hard am I pushing now? Am I applying 0.5 pounds of pressure? Am I applying 1.5 pounds of pressure? Am I applying 3 pounds of pressure? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I have like a general area, a general force, and like trying to push down my head like this, and it's like, am I pushing too hard? Whatever. But like, it doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how stressed you are. If you use a weight, the weight is always the weight. So weights are the safest way to exercise because they're always the same. That's why, like, for physical therapy, like if you have a messed up knee, you get on the machine at the gym because it controls your range of motion and it has a set weight for like if you're doing like the flexion extension. Or if you're doing sled pulls, put a set resistance on the sled for your knees. So people have this misconception whenever you say weight, they're like, okay, so I'm supposed to absolutely destroy my body with the maximum weight humanly possible. So, like those people in like, that train for Hollywood movies do. And it's like, no. The people who train, like people who work out to get in shape quickly for Hollywood movies, are exercising wrong and they get hurt. And you can look up any of them. You can look up like Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, whoever. They all get hurt. They all have permanent injuries for the rest of their life because they overdo it in training for their role. So whereas like you look at people like, like The Rock or like Tom Cena, like they've already been working out their whole life. Like they don't get injured training for roles. I mean, they might get injured in the movie, like falling or something. So, but like the way you exercise is safe. You're supposed to do it safely. Because if you're injured, and same for like athletes or like UFC fighters, like you're not supposed to work out like them because they're redlining it. They're pushing their bodies to the absolute limit. And the smart athletes like Kobe Bryant would not do that. He would push himself hard, but a lot of it was like endurance based, a lot of it was recovery, a lot of it was injury prevention. So that he could, be effective the whole game and not be hurt. But even he would get injured. Um, but like, say, if you use a weight and you use like 1 pound for your neck, like on a head harness, and you're going like flexion, and you do like 10 reps, and that's, you do 3 sets of 10, and then you're fine after a couple of days, you're like 100% back to normal, no neurological symptoms, your neck feels fine, it's not sore, nothing. Then it's like, all right, well, that's safe. That means next time you can do 3 sets of 11, next time you have 3 sets of 12, or maybe if you're feeling good, you can increase it by 2 reps. I wouldn't go more than that. Um, maybe if you're like 18 years old, I don't know, I just wouldn't go more than that. Because even when I was 18, I would only increase it by 1 rep. So, if I would increase it. And then, yeah, and then that way and I never got hurt doing that. Like my whole life, I never got hurt doing that. So, whereas like during the whole thing with my neck, when I was using the iron neck and all that, and like I hooked up the iron neck to a pulley system that had weight, so the iron neck had set weight, 2.5 pounds. So I'm doing like these, and I'm doing like the head rotations, and it's all 2.5 pounds, set amount of reps, and I slowly increase the reps up to 20. Once I get up to 20, go back down to 10. You could do more sets, but I go back down to 10, and then increase the weight, work my way up to 20, go back down to 10, increase the weight, go up to 20, down to 10, and then eventually you get to the point where you're like, you kind of like, you slow down in your gains. Maybe like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, you'll be like, I'm not. There's like there's human limits, like you can't bench press 5,000 pounds, because you start to slow down in like what you gain for your strength. So, but you can get a lot stronger safely. So when people are saying like, I can't do weights, that's not safe. It's like, weights are the safest way to exercise because they do not change. And that doesn't mean that like variable resistance isn't good for your body for stability. It can be, for sure. But if you're really weak, like I don't want to use an exercise band or a towel and like be pulling and like jerking around on a weak muscle, on a weak joint, because you could injure yourself. It's not precise. Ideally, you do both for your joints. You do variable resistance, and then yeah. So yeah, it's just frustrating because I get a lot of people telling me like I'm dangerous, and it's like I mean, it's the safest way to rehab your body. I mean, do you think Lionel Messi doesn't use weights when he's rehabbing his ankle? Like, he uses weights. He does. He's not like, I'm not saying you can't use an exercise band. Like, knees over toes guy would use exercise bands to rehab his ankles. Like he sprained both ankles, I think. I forget what he did. But if you're really fragile, it's just weights are very precise, and you can use very light weight, right? Like if you're pushing on your head, that is weight. There's no from a physics standpoint, there is zero difference. There's nothing. There's no difference. A force is a force. The thing about the weight is it's the same force, exactly. Whereas when I'm pushing on my head, and maybe this isn't a problem for some people, like I don't know, like I could be, one day I'll wake up and I'll apply 2 pounds of pressure, the next time I'll be applying 4 pounds of pressure, so I'm doubling the pressure, the load from like one day to the one exercise to the next. It's like, I don't know. So maybe some people can pull that off, but for me it's like I would get hurt and get hurt and get hurt and get hurt, and the only time I ever got better was when I used weights. So that doesn't mean like now I can like shovel snow, and so I shovel snow for, I got exercise for my neck doing that. Driving exercise in my neck is like holding it steady, sitting upright, like doing chores around the house. But like initially when I'm all messed up, I was just doing the weights mostly, and maybe some dishwashing and like basic chores. So, and just pushing on my head and putting a towel around my head for resistance and using an exercise band for resistance on my head, I just couldn't make any progress. I just got hurt, or I was underdoing it and not getting any strength from it. So yeah.